Hello, my name is Tero Jokela. I'm from Nokia Technologies, and I will talk about a user study on how people combine multiple information devices in their everyday lives. This study we have done together with Jarno Ojala and Thomas Olsson of Tampere University of Technology. Visions of ubiquitous computing have long predicted an evolution from single-device computing towards computing with multiple devices. In line with these predictions, people today own and use increasing numbers of interconnected devices with diverse form factors, and situations where several devices are combined and used together have become common. While there has been an extensive amount of research on developing systems and interfaces that support multi-device use, how people actually use multiple devices in real life has been studied relatively little. In an early study, Crudin found that people tend to divide tasks between displays and assign roles for each display. Studies by Oulasvirta and Sumari and Dierman and Pierce identified several basic reasons and motivations for using multiple devices. Oulasvirta also explored practices how people manage device configurations in mobile use. Several studies have observed that accessing and managing content across devices is one of the key challenges in multi-device use. Recent studies by Santos and Victor and Google suggest that parallel patterns of use are becoming more common. Overall, we can say that prior research has primarily focused on information work type of use, and that many of the earlier studies have been made before the widespread adoption of modern smartphones, tablets, and cloud services. In our study, we wanted to create an updated picture of how people today combine information devices in everyday activities and tasks, including both work and leisure-related use, in order to support the development of future multi-device interfaces, technologies, and applications. In particular, we were interested in three research questions. What devices do the participants have, and what are the roles of the different devices in their personal device ecologies? In which situations do they combine multiple information devices, and what kind of practices do they have for multi-device use? And what kind of challenges and problems they face in multi-device use? We decided to approach the topic through a detailed analysis of a limited number of subjects and cases, emphasizing qualitative research methods. We recruited a total of 14 persons, 6 females and 8 males, who owned multiple devices and actively used them. Half of the participants were students, while the other half were older people working in different fields. While most prior studies have been based on interviews, we asked the participants to keep diaries of any situations where they used multiple devices together. The workbooks we provided to them also contained other tasks to collect general information about their devices and their use. After the reporting period, we interviewed the participants based on the workbooks, including detailed discussions on 3 or 4 of the most interesting situations they had reported. On the average, each participant was actively using 8 different devices. 4 participants had mainly Apple devices, while the other 10 had a mixture of devices from different vendors. In addition to personal devices, half of the participants also had devices provided by their employers. The most commonly used devices were smartphones, computers, tablets, and home media centers. In addition, the participants reported a wide variety of other devices, such as cameras, handheld game consoles, and health monitoring devices, but their use was much less common and focused on specific use cases. If we then take a closer look at the 4 most commonly used devices, several participants commented that the smartphone was their most important device and that their everyday lives depended on it. The smartphones were used for a wide variety of different tasks that involved retrieving and entering small amounts of information, but they were not considered capable of handling large amounts of information or complex tasks. The computers had been replaced in many cases in consumption and entertainment-oriented tasks by other devices, and their use was increasingly characterized by more complex tasks related to work or studies which were described as important but serious and boring. The computers were also regarded as fallback devices that the participants turned to when their other devices failed. Tablets were primarily used for searching for and consuming content and for entertainment. 2 common patterns of use were observed: a shared family tablet at home and a personal tablet that was partly replacing a laptop in mobile use. In general, the tablets were still looking for their roles, and their use involved more experimentation than other devices. We defined home media center to consist of a television or other large screen together with game consoles and other media appliances connected to it. It was considered the heart of social entertainment at home, and it provided the largest screen in the household, supporting collective viewing and sharing of content. Overall, the participants reported a total of 123 cases of multi-device use. We categorized these cases into the main patterns of use as illustrated in the figure. On the highest level, we divided the use cases into sequential use, where the participant changed the device during the task, and parallel use, where the participant was using several devices at the same time. Parallel use was further divided into 3 subtypes: resource lending, related parallel use, and unrelated parallel use. And I will next look at each of these patterns into more detail. In sequential use, the participant changed the device during the task either once or several times. In about 2/3 of the cases, the participant voluntarily changed the device in the hope of improved performance, efficiency, or convenience of use. The device change was most commonly triggered by a change in the context of use, the task, or both. However, sometimes the participant's initial evaluation of the task proved incorrect, as more information was learned about it, ultimately resulting in a device change. In 1/3 of the cases, the change was forced, usually by technical problems that prevented continuing with the original device. The dilemma of whether to change the device or not can be illustrated with the following figure. On the horizontal axis, we have the progression of the task, and on the vertical axis, the user effort. Each device requires some initial setup effort, represented by the y-intercept of the line before it can be used to work on the task. And each device also has a certain efficiency, represented by the slope of the line. And the efficiency of the device may change as the characteristics of the task change. In order to switch the device, the user has to do some additional effort. And while the person may gain improved performance after the switch, it may actually take a long time to outdo the switching effort. Then, moving to parallel use, in resource lending, the participant's task focused on a single device, but the device borrowed some resources from other devices. Common examples of resource lending included borrowing the input and output capabilities of another device. For example, presenting visual information through the display of another device or using one device as a remote control for another device. Another common resource shared between devices was the network connection. In related parallel use, the participant used several devices at the same time, and all devices were involved in the same task. In most cases, the motivation was to have multiple views to the task, dedicating different devices to different content or applications. For example, if one device was used for viewing a video, another could be used to seek for additional information about it. Or the participant was looking at instructions on one device while working on the task on another device. Another common category of cases was where the participant was collaborating with remote persons over a real-time communication link. One device, typically a phone, was then assigned for handling the communication, while other devices were used for accessing related content and applications. In almost all cases, the participant was using two devices. Only in a few cases there were 3 or more devices involved. In unrelated parallel use, the participant also used several devices at the same time, but the participant was working on several tasks and different devices were involved in different tasks. Typically, there was a primary foreground task and a secondary background task. In a few cases, the participant tried to work on 2 equal tasks simultaneously. Overall, the participants reported relatively few cases of unrelated parallel use. It is possible that the participants did not recognize many common situations as parallel use of multiple devices. For example, carrying a phone to be reachable by voice calls and messages when working on other tasks with other devices could be classified as unrelated parallel use. Our study also produced results on several other topics, such as acquiring new devices, deciding which devices to use in different situations, accessing content between devices, and device maintenance and energy management. But in this presentation, there's unfortunately not enough time to go through that all. If you are interested in these topics, I encourage you to check the paper. I will conclude my presentation with some discussion points. In general, the participants wanted all their devices to seamlessly work with each other. But in practice, they continuously encountered problems in multi-device use, especially between different ecosystems. And they often had to resort to common core functions such as email to work around them. Plenty of work still remains to be done to realize visions of smooth and effortless multi-device computing in practice. Of the multi-device use patterns, sequential use, such as moving a session between devices, was well supported by current devices and systems. Also, traditional forms of resource lending, such as displaying content on another device, were well supported. However, there was little technical support for related parallel use, even though it was found to be common among the study participants. In the modern world of smartphones and tablets, many of the participants felt that the computer was like a legacy device from the old world. And some of them had tried to completely replace their computers with smartphones and tablets, but it was clear that in their current form they could not fully replace computers in more demanding tasks. This calls for developing multi-device solutions that are capable of handling the large, complex and detailed tasks that currently require the use of a personal computer. As the participants purchased new devices, the old devices were gradually left unused. This was partly because the limitations of current systems to support multi-device use encouraged the use of a single device. But multi-device ecologies might provide opportunities to extend the lives of the old devices. For example, they could adopt more specialized or supporting roles in the device ecology. This concludes my presentation. I thank you for your interest, and I would be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll start with one. So we have sessions here at CHI with smartwatches. Smartwatches are surprisingly missing from your from your picture, basically, unless I'm mistaken. So could you speculate about the reasons?
Yes, so this study was done just before the smartwatches entered the market. So the users had some wearable devices, but they were more like traditional heart rate monitors and some activity bands. So I guess today the smartphones have entered the market or are entering the market, so we may need another study maybe in a couple of years to look what will be their role.
Hey, Jeff Nicholas from Google. I was just wondering, and I think you talked about it a little bit, but I may just not have completely grokked it all. Could you say a little bit more about what the use cases were around related parallel use? Because I feel like, that requires, infrastructure support within the applications. There aren't as many applications as you might expect would allow that yet. So can you just say a little bit more about it?
Yeah, so there are many different subtypes of related parallel use, and you can see some of those shortly listed there. I already discussed the two first, but in the third case, basically, the user is working, for example, on some document on the laptop, but then there are some source documents like notes or maybe looking information, and those are then located on the other devices. Then the multiple documents case is basically means that you are looking at several documents at the same time, and you want to have each of those documents open on a different device. And then in the last case, the user, for example, is working on a laptop, but then the user needs to check some word from a dictionary, or maybe to do a small calculation with the calculator, and then a smartphone or a tablet is used for that purpose.
Gotcha. I mean, did any use cases come up that people would have liked to do but just couldn't do because the software support wasn't there yet? I mean, I realize that requires you to speculate, so.
Yeah, well, for all these cases, basically, there was very little technical support provided by the current system. So basically, the user had to manually copy information from one device to another, or basically